Good evening and welcome to the Manteno Village Board meeting for Tuesday, February 20th, 2024. I'd like to call the meeting to order, and if we could all please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Roll call, please.
Boyce. Here. Martin. Here. Dole.
Here.
Crockett. Here. Geske. Phillips.
Here. We have a quorum tonight. As always, we begin with the approval of our minutes. We have the minutes in your packet from our regular board meeting of February 5th, 2024. Hopefully everyone has had the opportunity to review the minutes as presented by the clerk. Is there any changes, additions, deletions, corrections? Seeing none, I'll accept a motion to waive the reading of the minutes and approve them as presented by the clerk. Motion by Phillips.
I'll second.
Second by Crockett. Roll call.
Phillips.
Yes.
Crockett.
Yes.
Boyce.
Yes.
Martin.
Yes.
Dole.
Yes.
Motion carries. Tonight, we've got a large crowd here for us one event, so we're going to deviate from the agenda for a minute and go to what a lot of the people here are for. And so before we get into the public participation, so with that, I will turn it over to Chief Swinford.
Thank you, Mayor. Usually our biggest crowds at these meetings are either hiring somebody or swearing in somebody. I think we may have set a record tonight. Used almost every chair we've got, and for good reason. As we've talked about over the last few months, our personnel's changing. We've got guys retiring, we're hiring quite a bit, and with that comes the retirement of supervisors. And with the impending retirement of Sergeant Mike Burns, who will be leaving with us soon, we're going to need to promote a sergeant. So Zarius West is with us tonight. He began his career at Kankakee County Sheriff's Department in the Corrections Division. Went on to become a police officer with Moments PD for a little while, and he came to us in February of 2017. He's an excellent officer and has done a ton of different stuff already. He's been obviously a patrol officer, a detective. He was an agent in the Stolen Auto Task Force. He's on our countywide SWAT team. He's our firearms and control tactics instructor, so we keep him very busy. Not only is he a husband and a father of two, and somehow if he's got any spare time, he's the basketball coach for our middle team basketball team. But with Zarius, his leadership doesn't start tonight. He has been an informal leader in our department ever since he came. I think that officers on our department recognize his knowledge and his skills and his leadership ability. So I think tonight we're just kind of making that a formal thing. So Zarius, if you want to come on up, we'll get you swore in. Let's go up towards the Manteno sign.
Raise your right hand. Say I, state your name.
I, Zarius West,
Do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
to uphold the Constitution of the United States
to uphold the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of Illinois,
and the Constitution of the State of Illinois,
and to enforce all laws and ordinances
to enforce all laws and ordinances
of the Village of Manteno,
of the Village of Manteno,
and that I will faithfully discharge
and that I will faithfully discharge
the duties of sergeant
the duties of sergeant
for the Manteno Police Department
for the Manteno Police Department
of the Village of Manteno
of the Village of Manteno
according to the best of my ability.
according to the best of my ability.
Congratulations, sir.
Thank you.
Rick, you brought some cupcakes and drinks next door. If anybody here for Zary's wants to head on over, you can do that anytime you want.
Thank you all very much for coming. Thank you. So now we'll go ahead and resume with the normal participation of the meeting, and we'll go to public participation. And the first person on the list for public participation is Francine Fatima.
Hello. Well, here we are in February, and not too much has changed, and the weather's beautiful. We're thankful for that, to our dear God. Tonight, I just wanted to say a few things about Goshen, and it is a dirty word here, as far as I'm concerned. I still think it would be in your best interest and our best interest for you to rescind the vote. Rescind the vote, approving their coming to our beautiful community. Also, the public participation rules, it's like some dictator wrote them. The people of this village are not simpletons, and yet the rules are such that we should refrain from noisy outbursts or no applauding or cheering or booing. I mean, that's all part of America. I don't see that should be restrained. And I haven't seen it here in this body anyway. That's very respectful usually. But the mayor has said, if there's something that's very pertinent, we're going to let them talk. Well, Mayor, I think that's rather arrogant. Who's to decide what's pertinent in public participation? I myself would have my opinion on that, and I think it's equal to yours. Basically, I think the public participation rules could have been a little better written. I know they're also the ones from the Planning Commission very much. I do think that we should be able to yield our time to another speaker. Some people are shy about speaking out loud, but they'll gladly give their strength to another person. And I'm sorry to see that that's gone now from public participation. Anyway, the main thrust of this is just to remind you and to hopefully see that this communist company, that you will rescind your vote. Thank you.
Thank you. The next commenter is David Kiken.
My name's David Kiken from Manteno. Thought it was interesting at the last Kankakee County Board meeting that I attended. They were talking about purchasing some property, and the residents around it were concerned about what it was going to be used for. And the board chairman said, well, of course, before we do anything with the property, we would have to get some public discourse and public input. Yet the county board didn't ask for our input about Goshen. Same thing happened here. We talked about lighting a ball field out in Heritage Park, and the mayor's comment was, well, we would have to get the residents to get some input from them and find out if it was okay with them. But there was no public input here on the Goshen deal either. We, the people, have a voice in our government. Each election cycle, we are allowed to vote for candidates of our choosing. Between those times, we are allowed to communicate with our elected officials by phone, email, and letter. All of these are usually one-sided conversations. We don't get any response. Our concerns fall on deaf ears. We're encouraged to take part in our government on a local level. At the Kankakee County Board meetings, the public is allowed to comment for 15 minutes once a month. With a population of 77,186 people of voting age, as reported in the 2020 census, for each person to have a 1-minute say in their county government at the current allotted time, it will take 428 years. At the Manteno Village Board meetings, each person is allowed to speak for 3 minutes. Now you, the current board, have restricted public comment to 30 minutes at each meeting. So that's 10 people per meeting. With the reported 2020 census figures of 7,128 voting age residents, this board has magnanimously decided to allow your citizens to have a voice in our government every 59 years. But we shouldn't be boisterous about it. We certainly don't want to voice our agreement by applause or dissension of any speakers. That apparently is not covered in our rights to free speech. I'm sure the chairman of the Kankakee County Economic Alliance was given more than 3 minutes to present the case for Project Unity to all our taxing bodies, even though the case was not presented to fully disclose what he was asking these bodies to vote on. There's no mention of Goshen. Now you are restricting our right to free speech because you don't like what we have to say.
Thank you. That's your time.
Thank you. The next commenter is Paul Motel.
Good evening, everyone. I originally came to speak on the new code to the rules for participation. However, I'm going to switch gears due to, I just feel it would be appropriate with Sergeant West's promotion and respect for him and his family this evening. If you'll notice, I'm wearing one of my favorite t-shirts. Did you see the back, Mr. Nugent? Village of Manteno. I loved coaching t-ball. Zarius' son was in that program as well. My other favorite shirt at home, had I known Sergeant West was being promoted, would have been my neon blue MYBSL shirt. When I contacted Chief Swinford, got together, and we had the sponsorship from the police department for my son's t-ball team. It was an amazing season. I'd just like to take this time to point out that all the great qualities that Chief Swinford pointed out in Sergeant West, a lot of the other Manteno's officers have as well. I'll never forget, in my house, Officer Lengel is referred to as Officer Hot Dog because of his hot dog costume at the trunk or treats. At the end of the T-ball season and the MYBSL parade, it was a great memory if you look at the Facebook of the Manteno police page. Officer Brandt, Sinadinos, and Rourke autographed all the kids' balls on the PD-sponsored team. Each and every one officer engages with the community and makes such a positive impact, it's amazing. I'd just like to thank all of Manteno's first responders, in all honesty, not just the law enforcement. You all do an amazing job keeping us safe, as well as you, Mr. Nugent. I'd like to thank you for your previous service in law enforcement as well. Have a good evening.
Thank you. Next commenter is George Reichert.
I don't have nothing written down, so I'm just going to try to remember what I'm thinking. But I've lived in Manteno for 30 years, and I've never held a public office. And it's not for me. It's not my cup of tea. And I do appreciate the people that do take their time to do public office work for this town. And up to now, I felt really comfortable with everything going on in this town, with Main Street and other few projects that has happened in this town. But I feel like, I just feel like I was lied to or just not told exactly what was going on the west side of town when I should have been informed what was going on. And, you know, it's not like you guys wanted to put a Shoup's battery, Shoup's architectural factory in on the west side of town. It's a chemical company that has its hazards, and it's only a mile from town, and I don't care what you say or whatever, it's not good for this town. And I just want to let you know that I lost my trust in your guys' decisions. So, thank you.
Thank you. That concludes the public participation in the village president's report. Just a couple items. Joel Geske is not here tonight. He is attending the girls' high school basketball team is planning to go to state, so wish good luck to the girls at state. Also, congratulations to one of the high school gentlemen, Carter Watkins. He's a wrestling state champ, and he earned that over the weekend and became I think the second state champion in wrestling in the last 30-some years. So congratulations to him. And Chris, he's going to be coming here at the next board meeting. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Okay, so he'll be here the first meeting in March to be able to honor him. Village Administrator's report.
Thank you. I have nothing this evening, Mayor.
Committee reports, Public Works and Utilities, Mr. Boyce.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I have no items tonight. Thank you.
Properties and Recreation, Mr. Martin. Just one of the items that was on the agenda, the ball fields, the netting for the ball fields, we're going to be re-looking at that, rebidding that, and there's some issues there that we've got to make sure that the things are covered, because that bid was received by the baseball league, not by the village. So we'll hopefully be able to bring that back to the next board meeting. Public Safety and Health, Mrs. Dole.
Thank you, Mayor. I have no action items on the agenda either. My next meeting for public safety is March 13th here, 7 a.m. in the village boardroom. My safety tip is, unfortunately, it's happened again. Another Manteno senior citizen has become the victim of a scam. And this time, the amount is heartbreaking. The victim lost over $500,000 to an online scam. We've said it before, but it bears repeating. Never, ever send money to anyone other than family members in any way, wire, gift cards, or online transfers, such as Zelle or PayPal. The scammer, in this case, contacted their victim through LinkedIn, but it can happen through other social media sites too, emails, phone, or other ways. Protect yourself by taking these simple steps. Keep your private information private. Never give it out over the phone to someone you didn't call first. Don't click on any link in any email that you don't initiate. Please don't talk to anyone online that you don't personally know. This won't stop every kind of scam, but it will go a very long way in protecting you and your hard-earned money. And I wanted to, maybe, Al, you wanted to talk about the Polar Plunge that's coming up the first weekend in March.
It is, yeah. Every year we get a group of crazy police officers at Frozen Lake. It's March 2nd, so it's coming up here pretty quick.
And village employees.
And village employees, yeah, a lot of people do join our team, which is awesome. They get a huge crowd out there. There's departments from all over the part of the state, really. There's only a few sites that do it, and somehow Manteno is one of the lakes they jump into. Hopefully it'll be like today. But in the past, they've had to actually chip the ice off of the lake, so you know, come out and have a good time. And it's fun to watch, and it's for a good cause, because we raise a lot of money for Special Olympics doing it.
We thank you for that. So, that's all I have.
Thank you, Mr. Dole. Planning and zoning, Mr. Crockett, you've got the bulk of the agenda.
Yes, thank you, Mayor. I have 4 items on the agenda this evening. The first is ordinance 23-20, which is an ordinance rezoning property located at 175 Cure Drive. That's lots 9 and 10 from R1 Single Residential District to R2 Family Residential District. The next item is ordinance 23-21, which is an ordinance granting a variance from Title IX zoning, Chapter 7, Section 9-7C-8G, minimum house square footage, and Title 8 building regulations, Chapter 1, Section 8-1-19E. Maximum sizes of garages for the property known, again, as 175 Cure Drive, Lot 9, Manteno. The third item is ordinance 23-22, which is an ordinance granting a variance from Title IX zoning, Chapter 7, Section 9-7C-8G, minimum house square footage, Title 8 building regulations, Chapter 1, Section 8-1-19E, maximum sizes of garages, and Title IX zoning, Chapter 7, Section 9-7C-8A, lot square footage for the property known, again, as 175 Cure Drive, Lot 10, Manteno. This request is for rezoning and variances for the 2 lots on Cure Drive to facilitate the construction of 2 duplexes. The Planning Commission held a public hearing on February 13th to consider this request. There were no comments from the public, and the Commission agreed the requests were reasonable to allow for the construction of the duplexes, which will be an improvement to the existing vacant lot and abandoned church. The next item, the final item, is ordinance 23-23, which is an ordinance granting variances from Title IX zoning, Chapter 7, Section 9-7C-8C, minimum lot depth, Title 8 building regulations, Chapter 1, Section 8-1-19E, maximum sizes of garages, and Title IX zoning, Chapter 7, Section 9-7C-8A, lot square footage for the property known as Lot 10, 4th Street, Manteno, Illinois. These variances are necessary to construct a duplex on a vacant lot on 4th Street near the grain elevator. The village has received many calls for various potential developments on this lot, but none have been viable until now. The Planning Commission again held a public hearing on February 13th, and there were no objections to the request. This is good for the village in that another vacant lot will now have a structure generating additional property taxes. My next Planning and Zoning Committee meeting is scheduled for Tuesday, the 27th, 7 a.m. here in the Village Boardroom. And the next Planning Commission meeting is scheduled for March 12th, 6 p.m. also here in the Village Boardroom. And that's all I have for this evening.
Thank you, Mr. Crockett. Mr. Geske is not here tonight for finance. Mr. Phillips should go ahead and do his report.
No old business, new business, payment of bills of $95,198.39, includes TIF 3 of 0. Next Finance Committee meeting is March 13th, 24 at 7 a.m. in the boardroom. That's all he has.
All right, and then general government.
I have nothing on the agenda tonight, Mayor.
So the items that we'll be voting on the consent agenda are as follows. Under old business, we have nothing. Under new business, we have ordinance 2320, which is an ordinance rezoning property located at 175 Cure Drive, lots 9 and 10, from R1 single residential district to R2 two-family residential district. Ordinance number 2 is 2321, an ordinance granting a variance from Title IX zoning, Chapter 7, 9-7C-8G, minimum house square footage, and Title 8 building regulations, Chapter 1, Section 8-1-19E, maximum size of garages for the property known as 175 Cure Drive, Lot 9, Manteno. Item number 3 is ordinance 23-22, an ordinance granting a variance from Title 9 zoning, Chapter 7, Section 9-7C, 8G, minimum house square footage, Title 8, building regulations, Chapter 1, Section 8-1-19E, maximum size of garages, and Title 9 zoning, Chapter 7, Section 9-7C, 8A, lot square footage for the property known as 175 Kear Drive, Lot 10, Manteno. Item number 4 is ordinance 2323, an ordinance granting variances from Title 9 zoning, Chapter 7, Section 9-7C, 8C, minimum lot depth, Title 8, building regulations, Chapter 1, Section 8-119E, maximum size of garages, and Title 9 zoning, Chapter 7, Section 9-7-C, 8A, lot square footage for the property known as Lot 10, 4th Street, Manteno, Illinois. And finally, the payment of the bills in the amount of $95,198.39, which include no TIF bills. Are there any items on the consent agenda that need to be voted on individually? Seeing none, I accept the motion to take a single roll call vote on the question of passage of the agenda items as read.
Make that motion.
Motion by Dole, second by Martin. Roll call.
Dole,
Yes.
Martin,
Yes.
turn my microphone on here. Boyce?
Yes.
Crockett?
Yes.
Phillips?
Yes.
Motion carries. I accept the motion to approve by unanimous vote the ordinances, resolutions, motions, and orders contained in the consent agenda and identified as read. Motion by Boyce.
I'll make
Second by Crockett. Roll call.
Boyce? Crockett?
Yes.
Martin? Dole?
Yes.
Phillips?
Yes.
Motion carries. Any comments tonight, Mr. Boyce?
Yeah, I'd like to say congratulations, Officer West. He's a great guy, and it just goes back to the leadership that the Manteno Police Department has. We got the best police department around, so it's pretty awesome. So that's all I got to say.
Thank you, Mr. Boyce. Mr. Martin?
Just congratulations not only to Officer West, but to several athletic teams in Manteno that did real well this fall, or this now becoming spring. Must be winter sports. Also, Robin told me about the chess team.
Chess team, and then show choir
And
won
show
grand
choir won
championship
the
Saturday
grand
night.
championship. So we've got a lot of talented
We
kids.
got a lot
now.
of things
So
going on.
Congratulations to everybody.
Yep, I
Mrs.
agree.
Dole?
Also wanted to congratulate Sergeant Z on his promotion, and Mr. Motel, I don't know if you're still here or not, but you made a very nice compliment to the village of Manteno, the officers, everyone. It was nice to hear positive things, and especially after they, getting together for the softball or the t-ball teams and stuff like that. What all the officers made sure they signed the balls and everything like that. Not everybody knows that, so it's good to pass that good information along. Thank you to everyone.
Mr. Crockett?
It was just great to see the support for Sergeant West, and shows how great of a community that we have here. So that was great to see.
Mr. Phillips? Yeah. Yeah, it's nice to see Zarius having so many people show up for, his swearing in. Next, like I say, Officer or Sergeant Burns will be leaving the department over the course of the next month or month and a half. As the chief said, we're always evaluating and trying to hire new people, and it seems like, you hire them and, within, it seems like a year, but 5 years go by, and seeing some of the officers here tonight that you haven't seen since we swore them in, and here now they've got 3, 4, 5, 7 years on the department, and Zarius being one of them. I know I talked with the chief a while back, and he talked about how a number of the officers that we have in our police department are leaders not only here in Manteno, but throughout the whole county. That when he goes to meetings, it's not uncommon that our officers are the ones that are leading the meetings and taking over and doing the instructing, and that's great for the show the hiring process that goes through. Great for the village, and it's great to see that we've got leaders that are leaders throughout the whole area. So congratulations to them. Chief, everything at the PD, the new facility, everything working out okay? You still getting people stop by to take a look? And that's not a problem. You can, anybody that wants to go through and see the new facilities that the police department has, not only the village very proud of it, but I think the police officers and the PD are very proud to see to show off the facilities that they have there. I think it's one of a kind in the area. And not only the PD, but the Public Works. I got an email from Jim today. He said he had some people stop there today to take a tour of that, because, that's, probably one of the better facilities for Public Works in the area too. So I have nothing further, and I ask for a motion to adjourn. Motion by Dole, second by Boyce, roll call.
Dole? Yes. Boyce?
Yes.
Martin?
Yes.
Crockett?
Yes.
Phillips?
Motion carries. Thank you very much for coming, for watching.